Aloha, and thank you for joining Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from the big island of Hawaii. Today I'm with my good friend Molly, and we're hanging out in Kahena today. Yay! Thank you for joining. Lovely to be with you as always. So I have Paul on the line right now, and he wrote in a couple of questions. You want me to read your questions, Paul?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Okay. All right, hold on just a second. Let me go over there. There we go. This is a good one, too. Well, that's not Paul, though. That's someone else.
Mine was good.
Yours is good, too, Paul. All right, let's see. How do you... I'm not able to read this question. It was something about how do you deal with other people's negative energy, right, Paul?
Yeah, when you feel somebody's negative energy, and yeah, how do you keep it? And also, I wondered which of your oils or which oils do you recommend for that too, if that's a recommendation.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Okay, well, first of all, the perception of someone having negative energy is a perception arising in your own experience. So, for me, that's number one. If it seems like someone has negative energy, just noticing that, acknowledging the truth that any perception of even someone else's negative energy is arising in my own mind. There's no way it could be arising anywhere else but in my own mind. And so any resistance to what I'm calling negative energy, and I'm only calling it negative energy because I'm resisting it in the first place. It's not really negative energy if it's not being resisted. It's just part of the ride. See? And I've experienced that a lot, especially in my family. It's like sometimes you'll have one person maybe get pulled into a pattern, and all of a sudden, this sucks, you guys are doing this to me, going into a little victim pattern or whatever. And, the thing is, for me, I used to really get like, oh, I got to get away from that. I got to get away from negative people and just surround myself with positive people. And, that was really hard because that would mean, essentially I got to like go away from everybody, because eventually some people are going to get pulled into some kind of pattern. So it's like, how do I be with that instead of trying to change it or fix it or anything like that? And so what I noticed is the resistance was coming from inside, from in my own mind, in my own energy field. The energy field is symbolic of what's going on in the mind. So when I feel any kind of pressure, any kind of I need to get away, that kind of pressure in the body where it's pushing, there's just a willingness to let that be experienced. And in that space, what I've noticed is people are given the opportunity to see for themselves. I don't really have to say anything to them. Something might come out of my mouth, but, I don't feel like I have any pressure, like I need to tell them the truth or anything like that. I mean, basically, when it comes to the truth, for me, it's not projecting onto something as if they could possibly do anything wrong or be guilty or anything like that.
Right, so they're reflecting back basically my own thinking. And if it bothers me, it's because maybe I feel it in myself sometimes.
Yeah, well, you don't have to try to analyze it or find any meaning in it, but it's just that in that moment, you are not enjoying. And if you are not enjoying, it's because you're believing something that's not true. You're believing something that doesn't resonate with the truth that you are. It's never
So,
because of any kind of circumstance.
so I'm perceiving something in them, I'm interpreting it as energy, but really what's going on is I'm seeing something, I'm judging it, or I'm making it wrong, and I'm feeling the
Yeah,
effect of that. So it's not really their energy, it's mine. If I didn't have the judgment and I was enjoy it, it'd be a non-issue.
it would be a non-issue, exactly. You might even have
Right.
a laugh, you might even feel amused, you
Right.
know. Yeah, because they're doing their ride, however they're doing their ride, and they're getting all the lessons that they need on that ride, you know. So it's like, you could say that that's non-interference because your attention is on your own energy and how you're being affected by this perception, which is an interpretation of energy.
Right.
subjective interpretation of energy.
Right. So you're on the bus or something, and someone sits beside you, and they have a kind of a dark, heavy vibe. It doesn't feel good.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I can get up and leave, go somewhere
Uh-huh.
else. But the real thing is about seeing that. It's just really my interpretation. That's what bothers me.
Yes, and you say you can get up and leave, and I would say that you don't have a choice in whether you get up and leave or not. That's just a distraction, thinking that you even have a choice in that. You would know if you're leaving, if you're actually, your body is motioning and it's leaving.
Right.
you know, that's how you know. So you don't have to give any thought to whether or not you're going to leave. I mean, those thoughts are just arising, and they can work themselves out, basically. I mean, for me, it's just allowing those thoughts, those concepts, to come together on their own, which they do anyways. They don't need me. Like, I don't need to know when I'm going to walk away. All I need is to be there, accepting, embracing everything that's arising in my energy field, and I'm going to either stay there or walk away according to whatever it is that I need to undo the illusion. That's what everything's for. It's for undoing the illusion. It's not for anything else.
So your job is the openness, the awareness, and the willingness to accept and embrace it. That's it.
Yes.
Everything else is just going to happen.
Yes, as a sensational energy that's arising right now. you know that's the sensations that are being experienced in our body, whether or not we're aware of them. They're like the foundation for everything we perceive. They say you are the universe, like the whole universe is contained in these individual energy fields. The whole universe is
Right.
in each one of them, and they're not one bit separate. So it's like we're all interacting with ourselves. We're interacting with our own energy field. We're interpreting energy or interpreting thoughts. So there's nothing to push against. When you notice that there's nothing to push against, you're in a state of equanimity, meaning it doesn't matter whether the person who's arising in your perception is calm and collected, or is exhibiting some kind of dark energy, because it's all fun to play with, because you're there. Like, wherever you are, that's where the joy is. It's just that we forget that we are that joy already, and we're looking for the reflection of it, when we're the ones that can bring it to everything. And I'm talking any situation, really. It's really any situation. So that's how we're completely safe, invulnerable to worldly things, invulnerable to anyone else's violence, whatever, because we're always getting exactly what we've been giving, what we've been, I guess you could say, expressing through our energy field. Whatever we've been expressing through our energy field, it comes back. As we sow, we reap. As we reap, I don't know which direction it is, but it's exactly it's an exact interpretation of everything that's gone before, and the interpretation is always, because when energy is being interpreted, okay, perception is energy interpreted. It's always unreal. Every interpretation of energy is untrue. All that's happening is love. If you're going to say anything is happening, it's love. And there's no kind of upset or pain or loss or anything like that that's actually real. It's just that we've been making up these things, and so we are afraid in the moment, if someone exhibits some kind of energy, that we can be affected by them. But that's the thing. It's like, it's really important for me, especially, to recognize that whatever I perceive outside of me is not really outside of me. It's all coming from within. You can't really say that guy is over there. I mean, you can, and a lot of people agree with you because it looks like that. But that's not really where it's coming from. It's actually a projection. And when you recognize that it's a projection, and it's you, you know, you can't help but communicate with yourself, because there's only one of us here. So,
Right.
it's easy, you know. For me, I find ease in that state where it's just I'm just able to communicate with whatever kind of energy is being expressed, even if they happen to be angry at me, you know. And someone might come up and say, "Hey, I don't like the way you do this," and this is, you know, and you know, there'll be an okay, thank you for letting me know that, you know, and maybe I'm gonna think about this or whatever. It doesn't matter, however it comes out, but it's just willingness to receive whatever's coming, willingness to receive, you know. Maybe say someone goes, well, now I'm suffering this because of what you did over here, you know, because you did this, now I'm suffering. Can you take that?
Right.
Can you just take that, you know, without defense, you know, without resistance? Can you just take that? And you know, a lot for a lot of us, it's a beautiful practice. Just when a thought arises that makes you feel frightened, like, oh, what if that person gets pissed at me, or oh, what if that person blows up at me, that would be bad, or whatever. Just when the thought arises, to allow that sensation right now, to allow it as if they just said that to you, as if they just did, and to allow the sensation right now and letting it be embraced. Then there's not the fear for it gets worked out. The fear of it gets worked out, and then it's not like you're subconsciously attracting it. See, when we're afraid of something, when we're afraid of negative energy, for instance, we are made to make choices that lead us to experience what we consider negative energy. Isn't that fun?
Right. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're a little bit
Oh,
quiet, but I can hear you.
yeah. So, so my temptation is to, you know, mix an oil blend or something and spray it in the air or something, and in the car and wherever I, you know, and just to
Yeah.
give the energy, the room a shift, and that can help. But the real thing is, well, that's my perception is that it would help. But
Well,
the real thing is the
see,
awareness.
yes, it's how you use the essential oil. Okay, you could anything can be used as a tool for awareness. You recognize that it's a tool, and you know you have a certain aroma that you've said, okay, when I smell this, it relates to this kind of peace or whatever. So you smell it, and your mind calms down. It's beautiful. I would recommend wisdom and stillness. It's a blend that I made. If you like Palo Santo, do you like Palo Santo or do you know?
Not so much. I smelled it in the raw form. But if it works, it
Okay.
works. I can like the smell if it works.
Okay, so I have a blend called Wisdom and Stillness. It's Palo Santo, neroli, and frankincense. And it's
Cool.
you know, to me, it's a beautiful aroma. Some people don't like Palo Santo. They might have a hard time with it. Another one that's really good for that would be Forgiving.
What's in that?
That one's got, that one's got Hawaiian sandalwood, Cape chamomile, and don't recall the last one at the moment. There might be two more in there. I know Hawaiian sandalwood, Cape chamomile.
And which one do you
Cape
use for
chamomile is
coffee?
really calming. Cape chamomile is extremely calming. It's the most calming essential oil there is.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to
So I'm
say
using
that.
that to shift my vibration, not to fix a problem.
Yeah, well, you don't even need to shift your own vibration, and you can't do that. That's only grace. That's, you know, there's a great verse in the Bible. It's not by works of righteousness that you are saved, but through the grace of God. You know, it's like not you can't do it. You can't shift your vibration. You can be there for the experience instead of being pulled unconsciously into a pattern.
Right.
See,
Got it.
that's your choice.
Got it.
You can be
Got
there
it.
for the experience. You embrace
Okay.
all the upset. And you know, if you assign that essential oil to be your helper in that, you'll have that. It could be anything, but you know, if you assign that essential oil to be your helper in that, it's going to automatically serve as a reminder when you inhale the aroma.
Sweet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you pulled it up. Oh, Molly has forgiving on her phone.
It's Cape Chamomile, Myrrh, and Sandalwood.
Okay, myrrh is in there.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, for anyone who doesn't know, to get these oils, miraclebotanicals.com. Hooray! All right. So,
Seriously.
so is that? Are you good, Paul?
Yeah, I'm gonna go listen back, digest it some more, and just go sniff some oils and have fun. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Bye. Lots of
Yeah.
love to you.
Aloha.
Bye.
Lots of love. All righty. Anyone else like to speak with me? Please raise your hand. I have a few more questions here written down. Let's see. Go over those. Oh, wow. A big one. How fun. It's big. Big and fun. Whoa. This goes. Can you do it for me?
Yeah.
Okay. She's going to scroll for me. I'm not used to it.
And let me just try one thing really quick.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So, codependence. I'm reading a book on it now and contemplating the topic in my life. Codependence, as I understand it, oh man, it goes fast. A condition when we're too dependent on the mood and behavior. Didn't we just talk about this? Of another person. I think we just talked about this one. When we make another person's action, words, etc. Okay, let's go down a little bit. A condition of our own happiness, and let's try to control them. In a way, all of us who live in some sort of relationships with other people are codependent to an extent. If a romantic partner is making you unhappy, you can get out of it. But there are other family ties you can easily say separate from, or not at all. How do we approach a situation when another person's actions, lack of actions, are the cause of pain, and we don't know how to extricate ourselves from being tied to this person emotionally and physically? Why do we end up in situations like that? Awesome, Yulia. Did you want to talk to me about that? Let me see. Is your hand up? Pop your hand up if you want to talk to me about that. That's fun. Oh, there it is. Yulia.
Hi,
I'm
Hope.
learning a new fun.
Well, guess what?
Okay.
I wrote this question a week ago.
I know. What, are you over it now? Are you already over it?
I don't know. I mean, at the moment I am, but isn't there just nothing but the present moment anyway?
Yeah, well, you're talking about approaching a situation when a person's actions, lack of actions, are a cause of pain. The thing is, if you approach it as if their actions or inactions are a cause of your pain, then you're making more of that. It's like adding karma to the situation. Okay? So if you approach it, it could be said that it is all in the approach, If you approach it like they're the cause of your pain, that's one thing. If you approach it like it seems like they're the cause of my pain, but I'm damn sure that that's not true, then it's a different approach altogether. And that's all it is.
I'm aware of that. What happens sometimes, it becomes unbearable. Like you can't take it. You have to do something because you can't take it. It just gets
Okay, what do you mean when you say it becomes unbearable? What are you experiencing when you say that?
whatever
What's
the other
becoming
person is doing. Like, what am I experiencing then? How can I say this? It's like you can't stand it anymore. The pain of it.
Okay, well, that's a thought that you can't stand it anymore, and you're experiencing the effect of that thought.
Yeah, well, it's
So
like it doesn't even feel like a thought at that time. It feels like an experience. It feels physical.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thoughts manifest first physically. That's the first manifestation in the physical form. You feel it in your energy body. Okay? The thoughts manifest as an energetic fluctuation, and from that energetic fluctuation, they become the what we know as the material world, circumstances, everything like that. Okay? So that's it. You can be sure anytime you feel any kind of upset that you are believing a thought that's not true. And if you would be willing to just acknowledge that. See, that's the thing. There's not a willingness to acknowledge it in the moment because it seems like something else is so true. And there's nothing there that's going to help you. There's nothing, no action, no word, nothing that's going to help you. Nothing can do anything. It's kind of like rearranging. It's kind of like rearranging furniture. It's kind of like rearranging furniture, but you still have the same house. Maybe it's a termite house. You're just like rearranging furniture though, and it's not changing anything. But if there's a willingness to just recognize that it's your own thoughts that are causing you pain, it's the thoughts that you're believing right now, and the moment that you feel upset that are causing the pain, then it heals. And I've seen it happen. So it's been revealed to me so plainly that there's no compromise in this for me. It's been revealed so plainly because I've been in an experience. I'll give you an example. Standing in the kitchen with my son, who's now 15, but he was, maybe like 12 or something like that at the time, and he said something to his brother that got me triggered. I felt a trigger, right? And this something that I had been noticing for a while, and I already knew that it wasn't him. But in that moment, I could feel my thoughts, beliefs happening in the moment, happening. And he's standing in front of me, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Mom, you're mad at me, aren't you?" Or something to that effect, or disappointed in me, aren't you? And I can feel, it seems like it's a big yes in my energy field, okay? Because I feel upset, and I'm like, ugh, like that. But because I was willing to see in that moment that it wasn't actually him that caused the upset, I could sense it in my body that it was only an illusion, that feeling like he had done something. And immediately what came out of my mouth is, there's something that's telling me that you are messing up, however the words came out. Something that's telling me that, but I don't believe it. I know I only love you. And in that moment, everything changed. Inside my body, and I could sense in my energy field, there was this tenseness and this fear and this fight or flight, and all of a sudden, it just released. And the look in my son's eyes changed. I could see for the first time when thoughts of condemnation about him are arising, how he looks, how his eyes look. When condemnation about him are arising inside of me, what does it look like in his eyes? And I could see that there's something in him just looking for more condemnation. And at the same time, that child in him is looking for acceptance. So in that moment, it was like, no, you can't do that to me. Something's telling me that right now, but I'm sure it's not true. I'm sure there's only love between us. That's telling the truth. And I saw the look in his eye change in that moment from looking like a guilty feeling to a feeling of relief. And that's where everything, that's one of the points where everything shifts. There's some different big points like that, but that's where everything shifts. So, I tell that story to encourage you to stick with it, because, there's all these ways of getting discouraged and feeling like, oh, this isn't going to work, or this is only for people who meditate 20 hours a day to be this calm or whatever. But if you will claim, basically one way to say it is claiming the kingdom of heaven. You can call it something else if that resonates for you. But it's like claiming that that's all that exists, and there's only love here. And whatever kind of delusion is arising in my mind, I'm acknowledging that it's arising in my mind, but I'm also acknowledging the truth that can't possibly be. Anything that's causing an upset feeling in my body cannot possibly be true. Okay.
And the funny thing is, it sounds great, your story. I had that. The whole story you just told me. That sounds great. How it happened in your experience. And I actually do have at least the mental understanding and some experience of knowing how, that is not true, that the thoughts are not true, right? And that nobody's
Yes.
responsible for how I feel. I know that, and I kept, bringing myself back to that. But the pain was so intense, and another thing that made it difficult is that there's not just condemnation of someone. It's a feeling that someone is suffering and that they need help, that kind of thing, and that I can't watch it and I can't continue just letting them be how they are and sort of, what they call enabling, create conditions where they can be
Yeah.
that way. Because I feel
Well,
I'm a
yeah.
part of it. I'm a part of it, and I want to extricate myself, which should help that person and me. But I just don't know how.
Okay. So,
So that drives me nuts.
so if you really would like to extricate yourself, that has to be done energetically. Because even if you physically move away from this person, it's still going to be there. And if you're not going to be around that person, then it'll have to arise in another form. But the way you can extricate yourself is to embrace the sensations as sensations only, and stop believing that you have to do anything or make any kind of choice on the surface. Just, and when the believing happens too, when the believing happens, like sometimes it just happens automatically, that believing, it's it's nothing. It's still nothing. Even if you went on believing this idea about this person being the cause of your pain for a week, you know, in the moment you recognize that that's not true, it's gone. It doesn't have any meaning. It's only there because you've been giving it meaning. And it's like the ego loves for you to feel like you failed, to feel like you failed. And you can't fail. You can't get it wrong. You're equally loved however it goes. But the thing is, when you call it a failure, it's like putting up a block so that you're not going to go there. You're going to go with it. You're going to go with the delusional path again, the path of rearranging furniture again. Believing these kinds of thoughts. But this person, are you close with this person? Does this person live with you?
Yeah, I was talking about one of my sons again, and what I
Okay, yeah, I thought
uh,
so. I
is
thought so. Yeah.
was something that I perceive as an addiction to entertainment, to the internet, to video games, and
Yes.
things
Yes.
like
And
that.
I
Yeah.
can tell you, from experience that is nothing. It really isn't. And I thought it was a big thing. I had the hardest time with that. That might be one of the things that my kids did that seemed to be the hardest thing for me to just be with. I'd always try to make bargains with them. I'd say, hey, how about if you play outside for this many hours and you get this much computer and stuff like that, and my kids remember that. My big son just reminded me of that. He's like, that was pretty funny. And I was like, yeah, I know. It was fun to see that backfire too.
Mhm.
but it's like there is not a problem with however long someone wants to spend on electronics. There is not a problem with that. And the idea that they are suffering is a projection. It's a projection to hold someone in an energy of suffering because they're doing what they like to do.
Well,
Unless he's
yeah,
coming
I
up to
also
you.
hear that they're doing nothing else, and the person is 22, and it's been that way for so long. I don't remember when it was any different. Maybe in
Well,
early childhood.
it's not okay with you. It's not okay with you. And I've shared this with you before because our stories are pretty similar. I also had a son who was really into video games, and thinking, the thought came up is, what is he's going to be 35 and a fat guy and just sitting in front of in front of the computer eating Cheetos and not having a job, and he's living at home, right? You get that one?
Yes, but see, I have a multiple attack on many levels. I also have to think about other people. I think I told you the whole story, right? About where to house everyone and how to support everyone. And I freak out because of that too. How much longer do I have to provide this ability for you to sit and to have your own room and, have all this? And I have, no help from anyone else. I'm doing it all on my own. And I do freak out sometimes. And I know that's also not true, but I still do.
Yeah. Okay. So what's wrong? What's wrong with that?
It gets very scary and painful.
It gets very what?
Very scary and painful when you feel
Scary and painful. Okay.
like you have to carry so much on you, and you also have to
Yeah.
find some sort of a solution, and you're the only one who is looking for it. Nobody else is.
Yeah, you're
Or,
very committed to those thoughts. You're very, very committed to them. I've heard them for a while,
yeah.
and if you're willing to see that you're actually committed to those thoughts, because these are the kinds of thoughts that are running around in your mind all day long, and they're getting energy from you. Actually believing that you're supporting anyone. That's not even possible for you to be supporting anyone. That's like a picture. It looks like that, but it's not true. So if you're going to believe that it's true, it's going to sound like a lot of pressure. And you ask me, when's it gonna stop? And it's like when it's okay with you, when it's just okay with you, and you recognize that you are fully supported in everything, and all the actions that seem to be coming from you are not really coming like you think. They're not. You're not an individual making these actions. You're experiencing it sort of like watching the movie of Yulia's life. Only in this movie, it's like the movie screen is like the cells of your body. So it's like all this interpretation of energy, but you don't have to identify with it. You're not, if you would be willing to recognize that you're not a doer, it's just identifying with a doer again. We talk about this all the time. I got all this pressure on me. Actually, it's not true. And whenever it seems like I have a bunch of pressure on me, there's just that acknowledgement that, oh, that's what's going on in the movie. That's not actually true. Whatever strength is necessary, whatever is necessary, is just going to naturally come out. I don't have to suffer over it. And here's another thing. You talked about being scared and having pain. And pain and fear, they're like the same thing. Pain is the physical manifestation of fear. So all fear is an intense energetic fluctuation. And it seems like you don't want it. It seems like you really don't want it. You really want to push it away. But let me tell you, you actually want it a lot. Because when it's embraced, it transforms. The energy moves. The energy can move. When it's pushed, the energy is stuck. When it's embraced, the energy can move, and through that movement, there's transformation. So if there's pain and fear, from my point of view, awesome, because that's where the healing can happen. And one of what people would consider a very painful situation is birthing. And through going through an experience of birth, entering into that experience with the understanding that pain is only fear. Pain is only fear. And it's all coming from the mind. Entering into that with that understanding and with willingness to experience the truth, it turned out completely different. That movement of energy didn't express itself as pain. That movement of energy expressed as some pressure, some movement, some stretching, you could say. You could feel it all. You could feel it all, but it doesn't feel like pain. See? It's the same thing with once I had that experience. That was about 9 years ago. So I had that experience where I recognized that everything can be approached that same way, just like it's being birthed, because it is actually. And it's those birthing waves, or what they call contraction, that feels intense to us. It's change happening, but it's feeling intense to us. So we say, no change. Keep it like it is. We're afraid of change. And that's basically what it is, because it's just like in the birthing, what's happening, why people are screaming and stuff like that, is because they don't want that movement. They don't want to feel that movement. It's not familiar, it's different, but it's what's necessary for change. And it never has to be experienced as pain. You're never asked to experience pain or suffering or anything like that. That's something that we just made up. That could be given up in the moment.
Hmm. So, just to clarify something, also those
Yeah.
thoughts that we take on, things we don't want to take on, you know, like you do things you don't really want to do and then regret them. Those are also just,
All thoughts. Yeah, yeah. Because life is just coming.
Mhm.
Life is just coming. So it's just an interpretation of energy, like picture frames changing. You're not doing anything, so of course there's nothing to regret. It's just, it can, you know, can you embrace? And you can. The question really is, are you willing to embrace? Because you already have the strength. You know, I'm sure you've heard, you know, I've heard it biblically and probably from some other religious texts too. You're always given what you need in the moment. You always have as much as you need. You have it. It's just that there's not a willingness to rely on that strength, because there's a fear that if you don't rely on your own personal strength, something bad is going to happen. And this is all relying on personal strength. All the stories about how you're supporting someone and stuff like that, that's all relying on personal strength. Apparently people are being supported by you, and you know that could even be, you know, approached with a state of gratitude. Wow, thank you that I have this money right now to pay this rent for all these people, or thank you, I can pay for this food right now for these people. You know, like last night I was buying some stuff for my son, and I just felt this great gratitude that I could just buy the stuff for my son, you know. And you don't have to be afraid you don't have to be afraid of losing anything or going broke or anything like that, because you're always going to have exactly the right amount of money that you need to undo the illusion. Okay, that's what it's for. It's only for undoing the illusion. It's not for all the stuff that you think it's for. You know, the ego wants it to be for. Let's say it like that. But it's only for undoing the illusion. So you're always going to have the right amount. And I've noticed that come up in my mind too, where I feel like, you know, oh, maybe my kids are taking advantage of me, you know, some kind of thought like that. And then I'll notice, what can they do? There's nothing that they can do. What can they do? Take all of my money? You know, that's not possible, because I don't have them. I don't own the money. The money is also something that's arising like on a picture frame. It's there it's there as a teaching tool, just as everything else that arises in the picture frame. So it's not, that's a big thing, this idea that I'm supporting people. I'm supporting people basically means I possess this money and I have to use it to do all this stuff. And the thing is, even the using the money to do those things, that's only just happening automatically. So, you know, for me, gratitude always goes a long way, even if I feel like it's something that I don't like, which, by the way, if I feel like there's something that I don't like, that doesn't last very long. That doesn't last very long, because the feeling like there's something I don't like, I'm like, ooh, how fun. That's something I get to experience right now, the idea of being someone who doesn't like something. How awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you're going around throughout your day, you know, in the apparent world, with just this openness and, oh, what's going to be next, and an eagerness. Oh, you know, what picture frame is coming next, and it's just fun. It really is. It really is for fun. But if you identify with the doer, then you're making suffering out of it.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure you can also have an experience of saying no to something, not giving, not, you know, doing something for someone
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's no judgment, there's no
You know, I told someone today. Yeah, I told someone no today. You know, they told me they want me to pay their invoice, and I said no. Your product sucked. You know, it's like it's fine. It's not a problem. Whatever it is that comes out.
because it seems like, you know, there's some connection to the idea of not saying no, maybe, or something. That I just
Okay, yeah, that's ego.
see that.
Yeah, yeah, that's ego. Because it doesn't matter what you say. That's the thing. What you say is totally designed for you. What you say is also a teaching tool for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what you say is perfect. Whatever comes out of your mouth is awesome. Okay? It's embracing, again, it's embracing even the idea that something can come out of your mouth wrong. Okay?
Yeah, I just had an interesting experience with fear, just wondering whether that is also what you mean about experiencing things like fear. I was just on a little bike ride, and I live in this, area where it's close to the water, and there's some dark, areas, very little light, like little parks, and I got into the place where I guess I shouldn't have gone, but it was kind of really neat because I could get in there, and there's a spring, and it was totally dark, and it was, some woods around me, and I was totally alone, and I knew there was probably nobody around, maybe some animals, whatever. But I could feel a little bit of fear rising, but in those situations, I actually can handle it really well. Because I was like thinking like, oh,
Okay.
this is what it's like, and then I felt like this is what animals feel like, but not as in fear, terrifying fear. It just kind of makes you alert to everything, and you
Uh-huh.
kind of just
Yeah.
walk in that alertness, and it's kind of cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
really feel everything around you, and that's what it's for. It's not,
Yeah.
like to be terrified. It's like to be like as an antenna or something, to be
Yes.
very
Yes.
receptive to
It'll
what's
make
around
you
you.
alert.
Yeah, and it
Yes.
almost gives you a bit of a high, rather than being kind of,
Definitely.
yeah. But
Yeah.
that fear is easier for me, that kind of situation, than some other situations in life. So I guess maybe they could be approached similarly.
Yeah. But it's also teaching something. It's also showing you how simple it is. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that same kind of approach can be applied anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like whatever it is that feels fearful, it's not different. It's all the same. It's all an energy to be experienced.
Because yeah, I've
And
done that
and boy,
before in my life. Go into a dark area, like into a woods or something, alone at night,
yeah,
and get that
yeah,
feel. Because that feel is cool.
uh-huh. It's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, really awesome.
Yes. Hmm. Interesting. So that's a good one to remember for other situations with fear.
Yes,
If
every
they think that
situation
they're
the
not
same.
that different from this one.
Yes, yes, and that's basically equanimity. It's being peaceful and calm with whatever is arising, as if they're not different, because they're not. None of it's different. It's just a welcoming of every energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hooray!
Hooray!
All right. Well, raise your hand if you'd like to speak with me again. I'm going to go on to another question now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yulia. I love you.
I love you too.
Yay.
Thanks.
Okay, I have a written question up here from Sativa. Ooh, how fun. I notice that I find it difficult to trust my man and my relationship. Ooh, how fun. Everything will be going perfect, and out of nowhere I will get a thought in my mind that will show me past things he has said or done that triggered me, as if to show me evidence that things are not perfect and innocent. It's as if I get re-pissed off about past events, as if they're happening all over again. Why do I feel this lack of trust when he hasn't given me a reason not to trust him? Oh, you want to talk with me, Sativa? You got a hand going or what? I'll unmute you just in case. All right, if you're there, come on. Why do I feel this lack of trust? Well, here's something that's really fun. Trusting another person isn't necessary. It's not necessary. You're at the cafe, you can't talk. Okay, that's cool. It's trusting in yourself is where it is. That it's even beyond trusting. It's knowing that you are perfectly situated on God's lap, where you're directing the particulars of your life. So you can trust yourself. You can trust yourself that wherever you are experiencing is where you need to experience. Okay, that means that man might show you that he's not your man. Fun. That opens you up to find your man. If there is one, if you're making one, let's say it like that, because you don't really find them. They're born out of your energy. That's one way I like to say it. born out of your energy field. You don't go out and find a man in the world. They don't come and find you in the world. It looks like that, but they're actually born out of your energy field, and you're going to experience exactly what you need to experience in order to undo the illusion, just like with money or anything else, you know. So like in my relationships, I've been chilling with my man for like 23 years, you know, and if I feel jealous, if I feel jealous in myself, then I'll just experience that jealousy. I haven't really had a jealous feeling in, I don't know, maybe 23 years. I don't think I ever got jealous with him in the first place. I ever felt like that. But it doesn't matter, because all of these feelings are equal, and jealousy is really fear. Okay? It's the same thing. There's not any different. It's like what is there to really be jealous about anyways? It's awesome if my man decides that he wants to check out I'm saying just check out other chicks. That would make him not my man. Like if he's oogling chicks, I would be, that is not my man, okay? Like later. But it's fine with me if he does that and shows me that he's not my man. I'm stoked. Okay? Because it's not like that. It's not like that's your man forever. It's not like, okay, that's my man forever. It's a play. It's a play. There is no man. He's me. There's not any difference. So there's nothing for me to get jealous about, and that could be why there's no jealousy, because, you know, it's like ever since I've gone through some kind of jealous situation when I was really young, I was really with an open hand with all relationships. So it's whatever they want to bring to the table. It's fine with me. It's just that, you know, I'm pretty clear on what floats my boat. Okay. You want me to follow up on that, just write to me again, Sativa. Can you say the same thing about all people that come into our life in whatever capacity? Yes. Yes, totally. It's the same. No one can create in our experience is one way to say it. No one can create in our experience. So it's all going exactly perfect for us. It's working for us. It's always working. I know it's always working for me. So it's fine whatever kind of energy my man wants to show me. It's like my man is my man as long as he's showing me he's my man. And then when he's showing me that he's not my man, he's not my man. It's easy. It's fun too. Okay? You never know what's next. And in my experience, 23 years of the same I can't really say the same though. That man has changed. but you know, year over year, day after day, it's not like I'm sitting there expecting it to keep on going on. I don't know. It's like you know, first 1 year goes by and I'm like, whoa, a year, okay. Let's see how much longer this goes. And then it's like 23. It's like, whoa. But it's not a situation where I need to make it anything. Okay. Okay. He shows me that his eyes are only on me, but I notice my patterns that I create stories that isn't true. Okay, fun. So the stories are meaningless. That's really big, you know, Sativa. The stories are meaningless. Then I get confused in what's real and what's not. Okay, so you don't have to find out if your man is checking out other chicks or whatever it is. You don't have to try to find out, because that'll just be shown to you. Just it'll be revealed. It'll just be revealed. Like it'll just be revealed to you. But if you're just making up stories, if you're just making stories about stuff, let the stories be what they are. Just let them be what they are. Let them come and go, and trust that all will be revealed. Because confusion is just the ego. You're not really getting confused. You're being led upon your path, along your path, it could be said, which is basically a collection of experience that are necessary for undoing the illusions by yourself. You're leading yourself. You know, you think that you're this individual Sativa leading your own life, but that's not how it is. You're leading your life from a perspective that knows everything. Okay? Isn't that fun? So it's okay if the thoughts about confusion come up. And if you want to know what's real or what's not, what's real can't be pinpointed. It can't be talked about. It can't be described. But it's where you're looking from. It's where you're looking from. So all the stories and all the confusion, that's an experience you're having. But you're not confused. You can't get confused. You can have a dream that you're confused. Okay, say it like that. I'm having a dream that I'm confused. And you say it like that. I'm having a dream that I'm confused. You're open. You know, you could see what this confusion is caused by, and it's just misidentification. Okay. You may be right. Your man might like other women. You'll know what you need to know when you know it. Isn't that fun? Yay. Yep. So I'm going to sign out pretty soon. Going for my Panchi Karma with Molly. It's a private retreat, and Anand's making food. That's Anand back there. She's making food, and we'll be doing it until Sunday. And I'll be back again on Tuesday. Meet with you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. Aloha, everyone. Aloha, Christine. I saw you say aloha up there. Aloha, Gail. Yay, Scott. Carrie Ann. Hi, Carrie Ann. Aloha, Yulia. All right. So, miraclebotanicals.com if you love awesome and amazing essential oils infused with love. Okay. Did you have anything? Either of you? Because we can. No? Okay. Aloha, everyone. I love you. Ahui ho. Let's see. Close it. I get some laughter at the end of the video because I don't know what I'm doing.